They truly believed that nothing could harm them aboard this engineering marvel. With this blind faith, tickets were sold out in no time. In just a month after its completion, the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage, leaving Southampton, England, and heading towards New York City. On board were 2,224 souls, each carrying dreams, hopes, and ambitions. Among them were 1,317 passengers, from the richest elites to those seeking a new life in America. 907 crew members, working tirelessly to serve and ensure the ship ran smoothly. But not everyone experienced the Titanic the same way. The passengers were divided into 3 classes, each representing a different world aboard the same ship. First class, where the wealthiest travelers enjoyed the height of luxury. These were the people who bought the most expensive tickets, gaining access to private Turkish baths, fine dining, and grand suites designed for royalty. Second class, offering comfort and elegance, but on a more moderate scale. These passengers experienced respectable hospitality, but without the extravagant privileges of the first class. Third class, the largest group, over 700 passengers who held the cheapest tickets. They were immigrants and common folks seeking better lives, but their experience was far from luxurious. Can you imagine? Only 2 bathrooms were available for all third-class passengers. The Titanic was a world divided by class, but united by one shared destiny. Imagine being on the most luxurious ship in the world, the Titanic, a floating palace, carrying not just ordinary people, but some of the richest and most famous personalities of that era. This wasn't just any voyage. It was a journey of dreams, luxury, and prestige. Among the elite passengers was John Jacob Astor IV, the wealthiest man on board. His fortune was a staggering $150 million at that time, which would be worth more than $3.5 billion today. He was a man who could buy anything he desired, anything but his fate, because on that fateful night, even his immense wealth couldn't save him from the icy grip of death. He went down with the Titanic. But John wasn't the only one with an unexpected destiny. There were 12 dogs aboard, pets of the rich and famous, pampered and loved. Yet, only 3 of them survived. Even in luxury, survival showed no favoritism. For the first 4 days, the Titanic sailed smoothly, a voyage filled with laughter, grand dinners, and dreams of a new world. But on the 5th night, everything changed. The night that would be its last, 11:30 p.m., a time that would be etched in history. One of the lookouts, standing high up in the crow's nest, suddenly saw it, a massive iceberg looming out of the darkness. He rang the warning bell 3 times and frantically called the bridge, but it was too late. You might be wondering, how could they not see a giant iceberg in time? The answer lies in one tragic flaw. They didn't have binoculars. Yes, on the most advanced ship of its time, the lookouts were scanning the horizon with their bare eyes. Why? Because the binoculars were locked away in a storage room and the key was lost. A tiny piece of metal that could have saved 1,500 lives, but it was nowhere to be found. The crew did everything they could. They tried to reverse the engines. They turned the wheel as hard as they could, but the Titanic was moving too fast, and the iceberg was too close. At exactly 11:40 p.m., the ship's right side struck the iceberg with a force so violent it echoed through the night. Steel bent like paper, rivets popped, and the so-called unsinkable ship was fatally wounded. That one impact sealed the fate of over 2,200 souls. Dreams shattered, families torn apart, and the greatest ship ever built began its tragic descent to the bottom of the Atlantic. But this is just the beginning of a story filled with courage, tragedy, and the haunting question, could it have been avoided? Imagine this, the most magnificent ship ever built, the Titanic, thought to be unsinkable, is sailing confidently across the Atlantic. But in just 37 seconds, everything changes. An iceberg, 100 feet long, born from the icy glaciers of Greenland, emerges from the darkness. The crew spots it, but there's no time. 37 seconds later, crash.